Okay, everybody, we're heading into the garden. I want to talk about something. You noticed my plastic tote raised beds. I want to talk about how I prepared those a little bit. I've had to prepare a couple more, actually 3 more, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Let me unlock this gate. It's kind of tight. Hang on just a minute. I don't want to jar you. I guess I should have unlocked it before I got over here. But excuse me, I don't know if this is a little shaky. I'm not really sure. I'm using what my husband bought for me at the thrift store. It is actually a unipod. And he didn't know that. He thought it was a tripod. In fact, the sticker said tripod, but the box said unipod. And we never heard of a unipod. I pulled it out and he goes, "Where's the legs?" I said, "It doesn't look like it has legs. It looks like a giant selfie stick." And I had to look it up. I thought, I've never heard of that. But anyway, so it's got a strap. So I've got it over my shoulder. Okay, well, here we go. Let me walk down here. And we'll go over this. And hopefully it's not going to be too bouncy. I don't know if it will be or not. Alright, we got the carrots going here. I did not separate anything. I may have some Franken carrots. They may grow together. But that's what it is. And then I've got this bed that honestly I need to just redo. I need to start over. It's got chamomile on one side, German chamomile, and it's got Italian flatleaf parsley on the other. And you can tell how far the dirt is sunk, and there's critters that dig up through it. And what I need to do is I need to undo this entire box. In fact, this is stacked. It's 2 beds stacked. And I think the dirt is so low now, I think I could probably just remove the top one. They're not together, I don't think. I think I just stacked one on top of the other. When I moved them from another place. This is borage. Borage has some beautiful flowers. It's a medicinal herb. Now, they're crowded in here. Apparently, you could plant this among your tomatoes. It's like pest control. I didn't know that, but I planted this in there. And these plants each are going to be probably pretty big. But I thought, you know, cottage gardens, you plant them, everything a lot closer together than the instructions say. So we'll see what it turns out to be. Then we have Copenhagen market cabbage, which was doing very badly in the other bed. And so I transplanted what I had growing here. I didn't plant this till late, so that's why it's so small. Although I did plant the spinach, and it wasn't doing so well in that bed either, and it was already planted for weeks before the other. So I thought, I'm not going to that bed fell apart, as you saw in the other video, and I said, I'm not just going to lose everything when I dismantle that thing. I'm just going to transplant what I've got and see if I can make it grow. Alright, now here we go. We've got some store-purchased pepper plants. I grew pepper plants. We grew them from seed, and there's some growing in the other garden. But that garden has been so inundated with tunneling creatures that when my husband went to town, I said, see if you can find some cubanelles, which we had cubanelles last year that we bought in a 6-pack, and we loved those peppers. And we seed saved, and for some reason, they will not grow. I could not get the seeds to come up. I wonder if they're a hybrid, if they were treated in some way, but I couldn't get the cubanelles to grow from seed. I don't know what was going on with that, and that was upsetting to me. So he found some cubanelles. Some of them have blooms on them. And so I've got these in addition to the others. It's called hedging your bets, people, when you grow things, the same thing in 2 different areas. If one doesn't do well, hopefully the other will. And then this is just a couple of red bells and a regular green bell pepper, you know, regular Bonnie bell. And so there's those. And here we have some sweet potatoes. You know, I had put coffee grounds, used coffee grounds impregnated with cedarwood oil and peppermint oil and other various aromatic oils around each sweet potato plant. After I lost one of them, I had 6 plants, lost one to the critter pulling it underground, little voles. I have vole problems, and I guess it was a miracle we grew 80 pounds of white potatoes one year in the compost pile, but that was when it was still a compost pile. It had a lot of pine shavings still piled up, and we planted in pine shavings. We didn't plant in the ground per se. This is ground. It all broke down, and these are planted in the ground. There's not a lot of pine shavings left. They've broken down, and the critters were tunneling, and so it ate one of the plants. After that, I ringed each of the plants put a ditch around each one of them, and I put those coffee grounds around each one of them. And for about a week, it was great. It didn't touch that tunnel. Next thing you know, one of my plants was being pulled under. I grabbed it out of there. That is the middle one here. That's the middle one here. I grabbed that out. It was, wherever it was starting to eat the bottom, but it didn't eat all the bottom with all the roots on it. So I transplanted that, and I found 2 potatoes growing. They were growing. Here's some, you can see it probably because of the color. That, and there's one over here. They were starting to get slips on them from some potatoes that the critter missed. Because my husband originally had just planted sweet potatoes. He didn't plant slips, he just planted the potatoes. And they were starting to grow, and all of a sudden, they were gone. All of them were gone, I thought. And I found 2 pieces. So I said, we've got to move them. Now this bin right here is a little different the way I prepared it than I did the others. And I'll tell you what that is. All of these plastic bins, when you get them, now these are heavy. Don't use the clear ones. They'll break down a lot faster, and they're a different kind of plastic, I think. But these are these heavy-duty plastic tubs you get at Walmart. Not Walmart. Well, you could get at Walmart. Home Depot with the yellow tops on them. Each one of these, you turn it over, and you use a drill, and you drill holes all around the bottom of it. Just no more than 1/4 inch. You don't want it big enough for some critter to actually get into. But it's just enough for drainage. You drill all those around the bottom, and then around the edges of the bottom. Just enough for good drainage. And then what I started doing is you take yard waste, you take sticks, a lot of sticks and stuff, limbs that are fairly small, break them up and put those, line the bottom with those, with some of that. Usually it's, just a few inches high. I'll put a bunch of sticks from the trees around here. And then I took from this leaf pile. It's got broken down shavings in it, and it's got leaves in it that are starting to decay, oak leaves, and I filled up the tub all the way to the top with the leaves. But see, they're lightweight, so they'll tamp down. And then I took the dirt from the other bed that we dismantled and put it on top. And there's only about 5 inches of dirt in the top of each one of these, except for this. This one has at least half is just plain dirt. Yes, it has some sticks in the very bottom. Yes, it has some of the oak leaves. And it's got some of the pine shavings from the last raised bed back here. But mostly it's got dirt. It's got more dirt than the others do, just because we're trying to grow sweet potatoes below ground. Now I still have 2 plants out there. Now this one in the back, I just dug the plant up. I just pulled the plant up. It wasn't damaged yet, and put it in here. But I don't think I had room for any more, so I left the last 2 plants out there, and I hope they make it. If not, if I see they're starting to get compromised and I can catch it, I will probably prepare another one of these. So anyway, this is the way you do these. Just make sure you drill drainage holes. You can fill it with, if you're not doing something like root vegetables, you can fill this thing up and fill it up to the top with yard waste, because when you start putting soil on, if you put any soil on top, it's going to weight that down and it's going to push it back down. So fill it with yard waste up to the very top, leaves, sticks, just not giant limbs, unless they're already decaying. And then you start putting some dirt in there. You want at least 4 inches of dirt, depending on what you're growing. With sweet potatoes, I needed more dirt, so this has got at least half dirt. It's a little bit different than the others, just because it's growing a root vegetable. So that's that. Oh, okay. This is my Mr. Lincoln rose. I actually took from somewhere else, and I planted it over here. But this is the Totes rose. This is a shrub rose from somewhere else. That's what I planted here, and the other one grew up among it it grew up with it, and so there's like, it looks like it's got two different roses on the same bush, but it's really two bushes growing together. I like shrub roses. Tea roses don't do well around here, although this Mr. Lincoln is a tea rose. Isn't that beautiful? It's beautiful. I had a hard time growing roses here for a long time. Let me go to the other garden. Oh, my peony that has been here. It's the kind that comes back every year. I think called a herbaceous peony. They die back to the ground and they come back in the spring, and it's never had a bloom on it. I actually got it in a little bag as a little tiny stick from Big Lots years ago, and it comes back. I mean, it's still alive. It's just I've never had a bloom on it yet. Hang on. Okay, come on guys, come on. Hey Raina, come on, let's go. They just headed that way. The gate was open and there they go. Crazy things. Hector's girl Jill is broody for the second time in her entire 6 years of life. They'll turn 6 next month. I'm going back to the other garden out here, possibly. But I'm not giving Jill eggs. Hector sits in front of her nest box. He's so frustrated with her. He tried to pull her out yesterday. I'm not giving her eggs. The only time she ever was broody, I gave her eggs. She had one egg at the end, and as the baby was hatching, she crushed it. She clamped down and crushed it, which is not uncommon for a new mama. She doesn't understand. Her hormones tell her to sit, but I'm trying to get in this gate, sorry. Her hormones tell her to sit, but she just, when that little thing under her starts moving, she doesn't quite understand what's going on. Okay, so I'm sorry I'm messing up this thing here. All right. I was just in this garden, but this row of Romano bush beans here, I had to replant that first one. It died off or something. I can't remember, got eaten or something. Everything gets eaten around here. Everything is eaten in here, okay? But these others, some of these are in pots, planted in the ground. I mean, the bottom of the pot is torn up a little bit so the roots can get through. But these are thriving because the tunneling creature doesn't get to them as easily. Although, you see how the bug damage, and I have had insecticidal soap sprayed on these leaves, and it doesn't seem to do any good. There's two down here that are missing now. They were eaten by something that ate through the stem of the plant. So it wasn't the tunneling creature. Brussels sprouts. We've never had really great success with Brussels sprouts. I said, let's try it again. My husband loves Brussels sprouts, believe it or not. A lot of people hate them. He likes them. And I just didn't separate those plants. There's several plants there, and one I just didn't separate them. I don't usually separate things too much. I know, I should, but I don't. This row is Clemson spineless okra. Most of this was grown from seed. Every other plant is things from a flat my husband bought. He decided he wanted to make sure we had okra. I don't know why. He grew up eating it in stew. I never had it in stew. The only kind of okra I ever had growing up was fried okra. You know, breaded and fried with, you know, cornmeal. This is the dragon tongue bush beans, and you can see they're being eaten by bugs, the leaves, but you see how big they're getting. My son bought me those. Brought me those seeds from the ones he grew in his little grow tent in his apartment. This row is the Persian carpet zinnia. Hopefully we'll see some flowers on those soon. This row is the calendula. Calendula flowers are medicinal flower. Let me pull this back a little bit here again. Yeah, they're really getting to be pretty good. I just did a trench and poured seed in it. You see how thick those are. If you plant things thick like that, they have less room to grow weeds up between. This is the bachelor's buttons. And these are black bachelor's buttons, which is the same as feverfew. I'm sure you've heard of feverfew being a medicinal herb. But yeah, they're getting pretty big. This is the purple prince zinnia. Now these right here didn't grow as well as the Persian carpet zinnia, and I've actually replanted some too. So they're not growing as well as the others, but there's still enough here. Now these are wildflowers from a packet of mixed wildflowers, a pretty big pack. And I just had a section. I said, let's just put wildflowers here. He wanted pollinators. I said, let's just put the wildflowers here. Now, I don't know whether they're going to have flowers on them soon enough to be pollinators for the other stuff. Who knows? Okay, this is where I dug through the sweet potatoes yesterday. The only thing I found were those 2 little sweet potatoes I showed you were planted over there. And a bed of those little red ants. Good thing I pulled my hand out of there before. I didn't use gloves. Good thing I pulled my hand out of there before I got swarmed with those tiny little red ants. Those teensy little red ants. Those 2 plants are still okay. If they start getting eaten, I mean, I could come out here tomorrow and they could be gone. But this was a big mound, and that thing has, and you'd put your hand down in it, and about that far down, all of a sudden you hit a tunnel. It's pine voles is what it is. They look like a mouse, but they're bigger. They're bigger than those little mice in the barn. And they just tunnel underground, and they eat the plants and the stems and leaves and everything else. But we've had a bad case of the tunneling critters this year. Over here is Doc. This is Doc growing. I need to pull it up, but you know, these things have a major taproot. Well, I'll tell you what, this right here, this was very successful. Since I put these up, I've had no deer jump in this I call it the compost pile. I've had no deer jump into here. None. That's a miracle. That's a miracle. So, okay, the elderberries. This side we never cut back. The other side we cut down, and you can see the other side, they're growing, they're that tall again. I cut them back to, my husband cut them back to about 2 feet tall or less. I think a foot tall. It's crazy. Elderberries are insane. They will take over, and they're fairly invasive. In fact, you see this? This is an elderberry right here. See this? See that? That's elderberry right there. They just keep on going. You just can't stop these things. I guess in a way that's a good thing. If you want to make elderberry syrup and you want a lot of elderberries, that's a good thing. Invasive is a negative, has a negative connotation. But if you want a lot of whatever it is that's invading, it's not invasive, it's prolific. If you don't want it, it's invasive. If you do want it, it's prolific. So that's what's going on. I won't even show you the other one because it's just nothing that much to see. It's just some tomato plants and some pepper plants and not too many of those. But I guess I'll just quit here. This video is getting to be long enough. Nice day today. So it's supposed to be 80, sunny and delightful. That is their prediction. The forecast is sunny and delightful. It is pretty today. So, y'all, those tubs, you know, those black plastic tubs, they come in all kinds of sizes. They come in a lot longer ones. You probably know that. But the smaller ones, those are 27-gallon ones. That's a 27-gallon size. Those are easier to fill, and you just have more and more of them. And if you need to move them, it's easier to move a small one than it is to move one that's, you know, triple that size, triple that length, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to let you go. Y'all have a nice day. Keep doing the things, because there's some wicked stuff coming. I've said it before. We just don't know when it's coming. And, you know, there's my snake. Now, nobody say, did you see that snake? That is a fake snake. He was one of 2. The other one got run over by the lawnmower. He was one of 2. It's trying to keep the rabbits out. Doesn't really work. I think they're on to me. But y'all, nobody's coming to help you. You have to be personally responsible for your own food, your own home defense, your own everything. Everything. And you also need to be prepared, as much as you can be, for the day that you personally are on their radar. And I'm kind of torn about this YouTube channel. I want to warn people and show you that you can do stuff. You just have to be persistent and keep trying. We don't always succeed. You see, things are eating our stuff this year. It's insane how much we're having to redo, replant. And I said at a certain point, I can't keep redoing. I've bought those anti-tunneling castor oil granules and watered them in. I've done all the oils that seem to help for about a week. I've done all kinds of stuff, and it's still not working fully. I've done insecticidal soap. I've done all kinds of things, and the only thing I can do is replant as long as I have seed. Some things work, some things don't. We'll eat the things that do work, and I guess the things that don't work, we just will forego till next year. You can't give up. You can't say, well, squirrels ate my stuff and I just can't do anything about it. Yeah, you can. You can keep going. You have to keep. It's a battle this year with the wildlife. And this year, the deer are not the main problem. This year, it's not the deer. It's the tunneling creatures and the rabbits. We always have a certain amount of tunneling. But this year, I've never seen anything like it. It's crazy. Even my son, in his new house, he's uncovered rabbit holes, all kinds of big tunnels, and he's got chipmunks everywhere that have tunneled and eaten stuff, and it's crazy. The tunneling creatures are out of control this year. And the creatures, the swamp creatures above ground, are also a problem this year, if you get my drift. They don't care about you. In fact, they want you gone. They think they're better than you. And they want the useless eaters, what they say are useless eaters, the elderly, children who are not super healthy, people who are not in the workforce, people who disagree with them. They want us all gone. And they're going to achieve it with their little poison genetic bullets, come in the form of a needle. If the released contagion didn't work, they figured the needle's a good backup. Well, don't give in to that. And people, y'all need to get over, and I'm speaking generically, not to my subscribers who are mostly very self-sufficient and very rebellious. Y'all need to get over living for convenience. Baby formula shortage? Well, there's stockpile baby food there's a stockpile of baby formula at the southern border. Representative Kamek of Florida went down there and saw it with their own eyes. They don't care about you. They only care about the illegals. But you need to get over this thing about convenience. If you don't have baby formula, you can make it. My son's never had a commercial baby formula at all. Neither one of them. I made my own baby formula from a book by Adele Davis called Let's Have Healthy Children. I tried to locate my copy. I found 3 other Adele Davis books, but I can't find that one for some reason. It might have gotten donated somewhere accidentally. But my son's had formulas made with cow's milk, raw cow's milk. These days I would suggest goat milk, not cow's milk necessarily. Definitely not soy. Don't give them soy. I think a lot of the kids who they think are allergic to cow's milk, or they think they have to have soy milk, I think they do well on goat milk. And non-pasteurized. Pasteurizing is what makes it unpalatable and undigestible for a lot of people. Raw milk is what you need. Sadly, the government doesn't want you to have that. You know why? Because it's better for you. It's not that it's unsafe, it's that it's better for you, and they don't want you to have it. So, think about who's looking out for your own interest. You should be. The government's not. And don't fall back on convenience. You can make your own baby formula. Get with the program and do it. Okay? If you got a baby, make your own baby formula. You can do it. And don't listen to the naysayers. My sons were raised on homemade baby formula made with raw cow's milk. Back when it was not illegal to sell the stuff. I had it delivered to my doorstep in a big glass gallon jug. Back in those days, remember those days are gone, unfortunately. But there are farms who will sell you raw milk. And they will label it not for human consumption. Wink, wink. And they will tell you that that's, you really shouldn't. You're not supposed to drink that yourself. But that's what they sell it for. Under the table. So, I need to stop rambling. I could talk all day about the crap that's being done to us. But you know what? Fight back. If you don't fight back, you deserve whatever happens to you. At least if you fight back, even if you don't win in the end. Now, I don't mean give in. I don't mean fight back in that, oh, I've resisted getting the poison needle as long as I can, but now my job is at stake and I've got it. No. That's not fighting back. That's still giving in. It's just giving in a little later. It's not convenient to stand on your principles. It does burn. Ask me how I know. Talk to you later. Have a great day, y'all.